Hey guys, welcome to my channel Learning Made Easy Peasy.
Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Today in this class, we are going to learn the full history of 9th Standard Part 1 textbook, that is the Karnataka State Government published textbook, and this video is related to only competitors. So let's begin. First lesson in this textbook is Christianity and Islam. These two famous religions of Christianity and Islam were established after 1st century CE. They were known as Semitic religions. The people of Middle East were known as Semitic races. These two religions originated in Central Asia. Can you see this picture over here? This is Asia. This is India, and this part is called as Central Asia or Middle East. The people who inhabited this region were called as Semitic races. The two famous religions of Christianity and Islam originated here. That is why these two religions were called as Semitic religions. This is very important. Please remember this. Let us first see Christianity. It was established in the beginning of the 1st century CE in Nazareth province of Palestine. Suppose if this is Palestine, okay? This part over here was called as Nazareth province, and it is here that Christianity first began. Okay, it was first established over here. The founder of Christianity was Jesus Christ. He was born to Joseph and Mary at Bethlehem village near Jerusalem. At 30, he was influenced by John the Baptist. What do you mean by Baptist? See, Baptist is a person who baptizes someone. Now you will ask me what is baptizes and all. It is baptism. Baptism means what? It's a Christian religious rite in which a person sprinkles water on another person's forehead, or of immersing a person completely into water, symbolizing purification or regeneration and admission of that particular person into Christian church or the religion of Christianity. That particular religious riot of Christians is called as baptism. So this person called John was a Baptist, and he was famous as John the Baptist. So at the age of 30, Jesus Christ came under the influence of John the Baptist. Who was known as Jesus Christ was known as Messiah, or the savior of the people. Messiah means messenger. The Jews complained against the Jesus to the governor of Roman Empire, Pontius Pilate. Please remember his name, it is important. He was taken to Golgotha. What is Golgotha? Golgotha was a small hill near Jerusalem on a Friday, and Jesus Christ was crucified there. This day, when the Jesus Christ was taken to Golgotha and was crucified on that hill, is observed as Good Friday. Okay, please remember this. This is also important. Jesus Christ had 12 disciples. They were known as apostles, and the most important apostle was Saint Peter. In the 4th century, Constantine accepted Christianity as the national religion in 313 CE. Who was this Constantine? Well, Constantine was a former Roman emperor, and he was the first Roman emperor who converted to Christianity. He was also the person who founded the city, the very famous city of Constantinople, and made it the capital of his empire. So please remember him. This is important. The holy book of Christians is called as Bible. Christianity has introduced the Gothic style of architecture. This is a very famous style. Can you see this image over here? This particular monument is constructed in this style, that is Gothic style. Martin Luther started Reformation movement in Germany. Martin Luther did this for the new sect of Protestants. So two sects developed in Christianity. One was Protestant and the other was Catholics. Bible. What is Bible? The holy book of Christians is called as Bible. So Bible was into two sections, Old Testament and New Testament. Originally it was written in Hebrew language. Can you see this picture over here? The particular script or the whatever is written over here, this language is Hebrew language. It is the Hebrew script. Translated into English during the rule of King James I of England. Bible was first translated into English during the rule of King James I of England. First section of the Bible, that is the Old Testament, deals with the details of the religious beliefs of the Jews. And the second section, that is the New Testament, it deals with the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. So majority of the Christians, they follow the New Testament and the Jews follow the Old Testament. Next is Islam. So Islam originated in Arabia. Arabia is a peninsula of West Asia. Prophet Muhammad was born in 570 CE at Mecca. His parents were Abdullah and Amina. In Mecca, he was introduced to a rich widow by name Khadija. Later, Prophet Muhammad and Khadija, they married and had 2 sons and 4 daughters. All his sons and all his daughters, except for one daughter, all his children died. And only one daughter, that is Fatima, survived. He meditated on Mount Hira. Can you see this? Yeah. On a hill, on a mount whose name was Hira. There he meditated. He used to do his meditation. The holy book of Muslims is called Quran. He traveled from Mecca to Medina when he became aware of the conspiracy that was played by the people of Mecca. See, what happened is when Prophet Muhammad stood against the people of Mecca, against the practice of polytheism, these people of Mecca played a conspiracy. They made a conspiracy and they wanted to murder Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when he became aware of this conspiracy, he left Mecca and went to Medina because Medina was a safe place for him. So this traveling from Mecca to Medina of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is called as Hijrah, the departure. And this took place in 622 CE. Hijrah era is the Islamic lunar calendar is based on Hijrah. This Islamic lunar calendar is based on this era. After 8 years, there was a war between Mecca and Medina, and the people of Medina defeated the people of Mecca. Paigambar died in 632 CE. Rituals of Islam. Rituals of Islam, in this we have the 5 pillars of Islam. The first is Kalima. Kalima is Shahadat, in which the Muslims declare that Allah is the only God and Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet. He was the seal of prophethood. Then namaz. Can you see this picture? Namaz is a particular kind of a prayer that is done by Muslims. So that is the prayer which is done by Muslims. Roja is fasting. Roza, fasting that is done in the month of Ramzan. And there are other rozas also, nafil rozas. Then zakat. Zakat is some part of income which is given to the poor people, that is called as zakat. And Hajj is a particular pilgrimage that is taken by every Muslim to the place of Mecca and Medina. So that is called as Hajj. All these 5 things serve as the 5 main pillars of Islam. Then we have caliphs. Who were the caliphs? These caliphs were the heads of the Muslims all over the world, are known as the successors of Paigambar. Arabs found the medicine for measles. This is important. They found the medicine for measles. There are 2 sects, Shia and Sunni. Actually, if you see the base of Islam, there are no sects in the religion of Islam. But these people have created sects, that is Sunni and Shia. Abu Bakr was the first caliph. Here we have completed the first lesson. Second lesson in the text is medieval India political transition. So the period between second half of the 12th century and the first half of the 13th century is called as the transitional period. What do you mean by transitional period? To enter from one era to another era. So in this particular period, the Indians entered from ancient period to the medieval period. So we entered into the medieval period. Monotheism, which means believing that there is only one God, this kind of philosophy became very famous during the medieval India. Why? Due to the influence of Islam. The role of small kings is called as multi-state political system. So this was also another feature of medieval India. First, let us see the Rajput dynasties. There were many Rajput dynasties. The first of it was Gurjara Pratiharas. These people of Gurjara Pratiharas claim, with the help of many inscriptions, that the Lakshman of Ramayana, the Kshatriya of Surya Vamsha, was the founding person of their family, their dynasty. But with the help of the available evidences, we can say that Nagabhatta was the founder of Gurjara Pratiharas. Their capital was Kanauj. Arab traveler Suleiman visited the dynasty during the time of Mihira Bhoja. The second are the Gaharwalas. The founder of Gaharwalas was Chandradeva and the capital was Varanasi. Third is the Paramaras. The founder was Upendra Krishna Raja, the feudatory king of Rashtrakutas. Their capital was Dharanagar. The most popular king was Bhoja. Solanki's founder Moola Raja I, the famous Jain scholar Hemachandra compiled a Prakrit dictionary called as Deshimala. This is important. Who wrote this dictionary of Deshimala? It was Jain scholar Hemachandra in Prakrit language. Then the fifth is Chandelas. Most famous king of Chandelas was Dangha. He had the title of Maharajadiraja, that is king of kings, again important. The sixth and the very famous were the Chauhans. Prithviraj Chauhan III defeated Muhammad Ghori in the first battle of Tarain that took place in 1191 CE. Muhammad Ghori went back to Ghor defeated, but then he came back in the second year with a lot of vigor, and in the second battle of Tarain, which happened in 1192 CE, the Muhammad Ghori of Ghor defeated Prithviraj Chauhan and killed him. So these were the very important 6 famous dynasties of Rajputs: Gurjara Pratiharas, Gaharwalas, Paramaras, Solankis, Chandelas, and the Chauhans. So let's move. Rajput contributions. First is their poems. All these things are very important, okay? Please remember them. The poems, the dramas, the historical work, anything can be asked in the competitive exams. So do not leave anything, okay? So the first is Jayadeva's Gita Govinda, Bharavi's Kiratarjuniya, Bhartruhari's Ravana Vadha, Mahendra Pala's Kavya Mimamse. How will you remember this? See, Jayadeva, Deva, Gita Govinda, Gita. So, Gita is the religious book of Hindus, isn't it? And in Jayadeva, we have Deva. Deva means what? God. So you can like this connect the God with Gita or Gita with God, and remember that Jayadeva has written Gita Govinda. Bharavi has written Kiratarjuniya. You all know that Arjun is known for his vigor, his strength, his wisdom, isn't it? And in Bharavi we have Bhar. Bhar means what? Weight. So Arjun can take up any weight. Bharavi wrote Kiratarjuniya. Third is Bhartur Hari's Ravana Vadha. Hari means what? Hari means Krishna, isn't it? Krishna is also called as Hari, if I'm not wrong. And Ravana was a devil. Vadha means to kill. So Krishna killed Ravana. Like this you can remember. We know that actually in actual story, Ram has killed Ravana. We all know that. But here only to remember, we are just connecting. So Bhartruhari has written Ravana Vada. Mahendra Pala's Kavya Mimamse. Okay, so Mahendra Bahubali, have you seen that movie of Bahubali, Mahendra? Yeah, so this Mahendra used to always sing, isn't it, for that heroine? So he used to sing Kavya. Kavya is nothing but poems, isn't it? So Mahendra Pala has written Kavya Mimamse. Like this, you can remember. I hope this will help you in some way or the other, but please remember these works, these are very important. Then we have dramas. Rajashekara has written Bala Ramayana and Karpura Manjari. So Rajashekara has Raja in it. Bala Ramayana has Bala. So the Raja, the king, will have all the power, all the Bala, and he will also have Pura, means not Ada, okay, Pura, full. Pura kingdom. So Raja will have Pura kingdom and Raja will have a very strong Bala, that is power. Rajashekara has written Bala Ramayana and Karpura Manjari. Then we have Bhava Abhuti. He wrote Mahavira Charita and Uttara Rama Charita. In Bhava Abhuti, we have Bhoot. So whenever we see Booth, we remember someone who was Veer, that is, who was very brave. We remember brave people. And whenever we see Booth, we will remember Rama. Rama, one of the gods according to Hindu mythology. So Bhava Bhuti has written Mahavira Charite and Uttara Rama Charite. Like this you can remember Veer and Rama. You can connect Veer and Rama to Bhava Bhuti's Bhoot, and remember that Bhava Bhuti has written Mahavira Charite and Uttara Rama Charita. Next is the historical works. Kalhana has written Rajatarangini, Jayanika wrote Prithviraja Vijaya, and Hemachandra wrote Kumarapala Charita. Kalhana's Rajatarangini, we have done this many times, so you will remember this somehow. Jaya Nika's Prithviraja Vijaya. So finally Amitabh Bachchan married Jaya. So Jaya won. She became Vijaya. So Jaya Nika has written Prithviraja Vijaya. Also here, Hemachandra's Kumarapala Charita. Hema Malini has acted in many movies which show character, Charita. So Hemachandra has written Kumarapala Charita. I hope this will help you to remember. Then we have biographies. Prithviraja Raso has written Chand Bardai. We have done this in the previous classes. Then Bhoja Prabandha by Ballalla. Bhoja means what? Again weight. So weight can be taken by a person who has bala, that is power. So Ballalla has written Bhoja Prabandha. Like this you can connect and remember this. Please remember all the works. The poems, dramas, historical works and the biographies. All these are very important. Please remember them. The painting style of this period is classified as Rajasthani painting style and Pahari painting style. Again important. The arrival of Turks. Turks belong to a nomadic tribe of Mongolia, a part of Central Asia who had accepted Islam. Aliptigin established an independent state in 963 CE in Ghazni region of Afghanistan. Muhammad Ghazni ascended the throne after Aliptigin in 999 CE. He invaded India 17 times. We all know this, but still remember. Okay. Gori, Turk dynasty of Shansbani of Ghor region of Afghanistan. So he was from the Shansbani dynasty of Ghor region of Afghanistan. He ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty. Ghiazuddin Muhammad Ghor, this was his full name. He ascended the throne. Ghiazuddin sent his younger brother Mujahideen Muhammad to establish Turk rule in India. He is called as Muhammad Gori. See, please understand this. Who was called as Muhammad Gori? This person, Ghiazuddin Muhammad Ghor, he ascended the throne after defeating the Ghazni. Then Ghiazuddin Muhammad Ghor, he sent his younger brother younger brother whose name was Mujahideen Muhammad to establish Turk rule in India. So the person who came to India was Mujahideen Muhammad, who was called as Muhammad Gori. Okay, he is called as Muhammad Gori, and he started the first invasion by besieging Multan. The Delhi Sultans, the first dynasty of Delhi Sultans was the slave or the Ghulam dynasty. First king was Qutbuddin Aibak. He was the founder of slave dynasty. He was sold to a Khaji of Nishapur. Later, Gori, Muhammad Gori, purchased him. Qutbuddin Aibak, he built Quwwatul Islam Mosque. In Delhi, he started building Qutub Minar, but he couldn't complete it. It was completed by Iltamash. That is the tallest tower in India. It is 225 feet in height and has 5 floors. A work named Tajul Masir is on Qutbuddin Aibak. Second important king was Iltamash. He was from Ilbari family. Iltamash was also a slave. Mongolians invaded India for the first time under the leadership of Genghis Khan. So when they invaded India, Iltamash was the king. So Iltamash defeated Mongols. He made Mongols to retreat successfully from India. That is why the Caliph of Baghdad, that is Caliph is the Muslims' head, the Caliph of Baghdad issued a letter to Iltamash bestowing administrative power to him. I hope this is clear. Then we have Razia Sultana, first woman to ascend to the throne of Delhi Sultan. She had the title of Sultana. Ghiazuddin Balban. During the rule of Razia, he was appointed as Amir-e-Shikhar. Kaikubad succeeded Balban. Kaikubad. He succeeded Ghiazuddin Balban. Then we have the second dynasty, that is Khilji dynasty. Jalaluddin Khilji established the Khilji dynasty. Alauddin Khilji killed Jalaluddin Khilji and came to the throne. Alauddin Khilji is the most important and famous ruler of the Khilji dynasty. The South Indian invasions was done by his general Malik Kafur. Malik Kafur was a slave to Alauddin Khilji. Ghazni Malik, that is Ghiazuddin Tughlaq, murdered Khusro. Who was Khusro? The last person who ruled the Khilji dynasty was Khusro. Now what happened is, see, after the death of Alauddin Khilji, his son Shihabuddin came to the throne. And who made him the king? It was Malik Kafur who made Shihabuddin the king. Shihabuddin the king. But Shihabuddin, when he became the king, Malik Kafur was killed by some officers. So Shihabuddin was again dethroned and he was killed by another son of Alauddin Khilji, that was Qutbuddin Mubarak or Mubarak Khan. And Qutbuddin Mubarak or Mubarak Khan became the king of Khilji dynasty. Finally, Mubarak Khan was killed by Khusro, and he became the last ruler of the Khilji dynasty because Khusro was killed by Ghazni Malik or Ghiazuddin Tughlaq, and he, after killing Khusro, he founded the dynasty of Tughlaq, that is Tughlaq dynasty. Doab. Doab means what? It is the land between two rivers. A system of records of the soldiers named Hulia was there during the time of Alauddin Khilji or the Khilji dynasty. The process of stamping the horses called as Daag, this was also started by Alauddin Khilji. This is important. Please remember this. This was asked several times in several competitive exams. Who started the process of stamping the processes, the horses called as Daag? It was Alauddin Khilji. He appointed higher officials named Shahani Mandi to regulate the markets. The third dynasty is the Tughlaq dynasty. It was founded by Ghiazuddin Tughlaq. He established the postal system consisting of horsemen and runners. Please remember this. Who started the postal system? It was started by Ghiazuddin Tughlaq and not Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And that consisted of horsemen as well as runners. Then he built Tughlaqabad fort near Delhi. This is also important. Then we have Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the most important and famous ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty. Taxes. See, these are the taxes which were there during the time of Delhi Sultanate. So please remember them. Please remember them. Don't forget them. Kharaj, Ushra, Zakat, Jazia and Khams. They will be definitely asked in the competitive exams because they were asked several times in several competitive exams. Okay. Kharaj. Kharaj was the land tax on non-Muslims. Ushra was the agricultural tax on Muslims. Zakat was the property tax on Muslim subjects. See, Zakat is also one of the pillars of Islam, isn't it? So, like this, you can connect Zakat to the Muslim subjects and remember that Zakat was the property tax on Muslim subjects. Jizya was the religious tax on Hindus. If you have seen Jodha Akbar, you will never forget this jizya. Jizya was the religious tax on Hindus, which was later removed by Akbar. Khams was the tax on the wealth plundered during the battles. Next, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he shifted the capital from Delhi to Devagiri. Why did he do this? Because of two main reasons. First, he wanted to establish the capital city at the center of the vast empire. Such a legend and such a responsible reason is this. And then to protect the capital city from foreign invasions. This is also a very justified reason, isn't it? His reasons for his policies were really legit, but the implementation went wrong. Gold coin named dinar and silver coin named adli. Please remember their names, these are very important. These two coins were again started by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Copper and brass coins were also brought in circulation by him symbolically. He conquered. Who conquered? Muhammad bin Tughlaq conquered Warangal, the capital city of Kakatiyas, Dwarasamudra, the capital city of Hoysalas, and Madurai of South India. He was the greatest Delhi Sultan to establish the vast empire in India. He was the first ever Delhi Sultan who established a vast empire in India. Please remember this. He was the first greatest Sultan of Delhi who established a vast empire in India. Before him, no one has conquered so many places. We know that Alauddin Khilji has conquered many places, but a lot of South expedition, in fact, the whole of the South expedition was done by Malik Kafur, his general, and he did not add those places. He just destroyed those places. That's it. So it was Muhammad bin Tughlaq who was the first ruler and the greatest ruler of the Delhi Sultanate who established a vast empire in India. Please remember this. Then we have Firoz Shah Tughlaq, waived off Takkavi loans. What is this Takkavi loans? If you know, then please comment below. Abolished around 20 different taxes. Important cities built by him, that is Firoz Shah Tughlaq, were Jaunpur, it is a famous learning center, then Fatehbad, Hisar, Firozpur and Firozabad. Then we have the fourth dynasty, that is the Sayyid dynasty. Khizr Khan Sayyid, the governor of Multan, founded this dynasty. This is important. Bahulal Lodi defeated Alam Shah and ended the rule of Sayyid dynasty. The final dynasty is Lodi dynasty, Bahulal Lodi, Sikandar Lodi and Ibrahim Lodi for the famous rulers of the Lodi dynasty. Afghans were invited by the governors Alam Khan and Daulat Khan. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi, the last Lodi ruler, in the first battle of Panipat in 1526 and established the Mughal rule in India. Again important. Contributions of Delhi Sultan. First is literature. Let us see. A famous scholar named Al-Biruni was in the court of Muhammad Ghori. Al-Biruni wrote Kitab al-Hind on social, political, economic and religious aspects of India. Hasan Nijami wrote Taj al-Masir. Taj al-Masir was written by whom? Sorry, it was written on whom? It was written on Aibak, Kutubuddin Aibak. Please remember this. Taj al-Masir was a work that was written on Kutubuddin Aibak and it was written by Hasan Nijami. Minaz-us-Siraj wrote Tabaqal-e-Nasiri. Amir Khusro, who is called as Indian parrot or the parrot of India, wrote 6 books. Firoz Shah Tughlaq wrote Futuhat-e Firoz Shahi. Futuhat-e Firoz Shahi. All these works are very important. Please remember them. In architecture, Indo-Islamic art and architecture, that is arches, domes and minarets, became very famous during the time of Delhi Sultanate. What is arches? Can you see this? This is an arch that is giving a shape in the construction, like this or like this or like this. These kind of shapes were given, and this is called as arches. This, can you see this part, the upper part of this monument? That is called as dome. Dome. So many monuments with these kind of domes, like you can say Gol Gumbaz, Ibrahim Roza, you can see these kind of domes in most of the monuments. Minarets. Minarets. Again, it is there in Ibrahim Roza, in Gol Gumbaz, and all other, art and architecture that was built by the Delhi Sultans. You can see this, you can find these kind of minarets. So their architecture consisted of all these three, that is the arches, can you see here, the domes and the minarets. So here we have completed the second lesson. Let us see a map. This is a map which shows you the Rajput kingdoms of northern India. Chauhans, Rathods, Sisodias, Paramaras, Kachwahas, Tomaras, Solankis, and many other Rajput kingdoms were also there. Here, they were particularly ruling from Rajasthan, Gujarat, Haryana, these places. Okay? And this is a map that shows you the extent of the Delhi Sultanate. Just see the extent. Such big their empire was, isn't it? So here we have completed the second lesson. Third lesson is religious promoters and social reformers. The first is Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya propounded the philosophy of Advaita. What did he say from this, according to this philosophy? He said that Brahma is the absolute truth and rest of the world and everything else is, it is just Maya. That is, it is false. It does not exist. His teacher was Govind Bhagavad Pada. The human soul has no separate existence. He expressed this fact in the phrase called Aham Brahmasmi. So the phrase of Aham Brahmasmi was given by Shankaracharya. This is important. Brahma is truth. It has no qualities, no features, and no shape. That is Nirguna, Nirakara, and Nirvikara. No qualities, Nirguna. No features, Nirakara. No shape, Nirvikara. And the works that were written by Shankaracharya were Shankara Bhasya, Ananda Lahari, Saundarya Lahari, Shivananda Lahari, Viveka Chudamani, Prabuddha Sudhakara, and Dakshinamurti Stotra. These works are very important. Please remember them. I will try to help you a little. How will you remember? See, Shankaracharya has written Shankara Bhasya. In the work itself, there is Shankara. So this is easy to remember. Then any work that ends with Lahari, 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 Lahari is written by Shankaracharya. Shankara se Ananda, Shankara se Saundarya, Shankara se Shiva. Like this also you can connect in some religious way. But it is easy to remember that any work that ends with Lahari is written by Shankaracharya. So Ananda Lahari, Saundarya Lahari and Shivananda Lahari. This is done. Okay. Then how will you remember Viveka Chudamani and Prabuddha Sudhakara? See, Viveka and Prabuddha both mean wisdom. What do they mean? Wisdom. Wisdom, enlightenment, knowledge. So Shankaracharya had a lot of wisdom, knowledge and enlightenment. So Viveka Chudamani and Prabuddha Sudhakara was written by Shankaracharya. So these two are also done. Then how will you remember Dakshinamurti Stotra? Remember this, that Shankaracharya has built or he established two mathas in Dakshina, that is south of India. So like this you can remember that Dakshinamurti Stotra was written by Shankaracharya. A hymn called Bhaja Govindam was also started by Shankaracharya. This is also important. If you remember his teacher, that is Govinda Bhagavad Pada, you will indeed remember this hymn of Bhaja Govindam. Established pithas, that is matha, institutions in all the four directions. How is it? Let me tell you. First, see these pithas. Badari Jyotir Pitha. So Badari is where? It is in Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand is in north. So north is done. Badari Jyotir Pitha, Uttarakhand, north. Then second is Dwaraka. In Dwaraka, he established Kalika Pitha. Where is Dwaraka? Dwaraka is in Gujarat. So Gujarat is in west over here. Okay, so Gujarat west is done, and this Uttarakhand of Badari north is also done. The third is Puri Govardhan Pitha. So this Govardhan Pitha, Puri is in Odisha is in east. So east Odisha. Okay, then we have Sringeri. In Sringeri he built the Sharada Pitha. So Sringeri is in Karnataka. Karnataka is in south. Okay, Karnataka, Sringeri. There is another one, that is Kanchi. In Kanchi he built the Kamakoti Pitha. Kamakoti Pitha Kanchi, that is in Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu Kanchi is done. So all these directions, all four directions are done: north, south, east and west, isn't it? So he built pithas, that is institutions, in all the four directions, that is north, south, east, west. But in south there are two, that is one is in Karnataka, another is in Tamil Nadu. How will you remember these pithas and the places they are, established in? See, Jyoti, Badari is a place, already a religious place, isn't it? So in a religious place like Badari, we get light, that is Jyoti. So like this you can connect Badari to Jyoti and remember that Jyotir Pitha is in Badari. Then Dwaraka was an educational center, isn't it? So Kalika means what? Education, learning. So like this you can connect Dwaraka to Kalika and remember that Kalika Pitha was established in Dwaraka. Puri Govardhan Pitha. A person called Govardhan, he makes very tasty puris. So Govardhan Pitha is in Puri. Then we have Sringeri and Sharada Pitha. So this girl called as Sharada, she was proposed with a ring. So Sringeri, Sharada. Like this you can connect and remember that Sharada Pitha was established in Sringeri. Kanchi Kamakoti Pitha. We already know Kanchi very well. It is in Tamil Nadu. And to go to Kanchi, because it is very far, we need koti of money. That is, we need crores of money. So like this you can, connect Kamakoti to Kanchi and remember that Kamakoti Pitha was established in Kanchi. Next we have is Ramanujacharya. Yadava Prakasha in Kanchi, the famous learning center in South India. Ramanujacharya studied Vedas and Upanishads in Yadava Prakasha in Kanchi. So that is a famous learning center in South India. He was invited by Bitti Deva, the Hoysala king of Karnataka. Bitti Deva accepted Vaishnava tradition and became Vishnuvardhana. Then Vishishtadvaita. So Ramanujacharya, he propounded the philosophy of Vishishtadvaita. What did he say according to this? He said that Jiva, life, and Prakruti, that is nature, these two are there, separate. But they both are under the control of Brahma. This is important. Please remember. He criticized caste system and he has written many books like Vedanta Sangraha, Vedanta Sara, Vedanta Deepika, and Sri Bhasya. He has also written another important book called as Gita Bhasya. What is that? Gita Bhasya. How will you remember these books? All these books are very important. Please remember. Gita Bhasya. This you have to remember some or the other how. Okay. Then the other books, how will you remember? See, any book that starts with Vedanta, Vedanta, Vedanta was written by Ramanujacharya. Can you see this picture? He was Ramanujacharya. So Vedanta Sangraha, Vedanta Sara, and Vedanta Deepika was written by Ramanujacharya. Sri Bhasya and Gita Bhasya, these two please remember somehow. Okay, Gita Bhasya and Sri Bhasya was also written by Ramanujacharya. Gita Bhasya was a very important book that was written by Ramanujacharya. His most important book was Gita Bhasya. The Tuluva and Aravidu dynasties of Vijayanagara were the followers of this philosophy. Which philosophy was this? It was Sri Vaishnavism philosophy. Famous mutts of Sri Vaishnavism in South India, only in the South India, are Yatti Raja Mutt, Melukote and Sri Perambuttur. Where is this Melukote and Sri Perambuttur? It is in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu. Then Parakala, that is Brahmatantra Mutt, it is in Mysuru. Mysuru is in Karnataka. Then Ahobala Mutt in Ahobala Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. It is in Andhra Pradesh. Andavan Mutt Srirangam. Srirangam is again in Tamil Nadu. One Vamai Malai Mutt in Suchindram. Suchindram is again in Tamil Nadu. So 3 mutts are in Tamil Nadu, one is in Andhra Pradesh and another is in Karnataka. These are very famous mutts which are related to the cult of Sri Vaishnavism. Please remember them. How will you remember where it was built? See, Yati Raja Mutt in Melukote Sri Perambuttur, right? In Yati Raja we have Raja. Raja will have Kote. Kote means what? A house like villa, isn't it? And Perambuttur, Sri Perambuttur, Shri. Any Raja will be called as, Shri, or they will be having some titles, isn't it? Respected titles. So like this, you can connect the Raja of Yati Raja to Melukote and Sri Perambuttur, and remember that the Mutt of Yati Raja was constructed or was established in Melukote and Sri Perambuttur. The next is Parakala. What is that? Parakala Brahmatantra Mutt in Mysuru. Mysuru is to be related somehow to the Parakala or Brahmatantra, and please remember this, okay? No other connection or hint can be given to this. Ahobala Mutt, Ahobala Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. This is easy to remember because the name of the mutt itself is there in the place name, that is Ahobala Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. Then Andavan Mutt Srirangam. Now Srirangam is a place which is already known for so many temples and all, right? It is also known for a van, that is forest. So Anandavan Mutt was also built in Srirangam. Vamai Malai Mutt is in Suchindram. Sachin Tendulkar used to eat a lot of malai. Malai is nothing but the cream. So Vamai Malai Mutt was built in Suchindram. I hope this will help you in some or the other way to remember the names. Okay. Next we have Madhvacharya. His teacher was Achyuta Preksha, Dvaita philosophy. So he gave the philosophy of Dvaita. Dvaita literally means two. The human soul and the divine soul are separate and they both exist. That is what Madhvacharya told us. He established 8 mutts called as Ashtamathas. This is important. Who established 8 mutts? Ashtamathas was established by whom? It was Madhvacharya. Which are those? Palimaru, Adamaru, Krishnamaru, Puttige, Shirur, Sode, Koniyur, Pejavar Mutt. All these mutts are to be remembered. Works: Gita Bhasya, Gita Tatparya Nirnaya, Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, Vishnu Tatparya Nirnaya, Bhagavata Tatparya Nirnaya, and Mayavada Khandana. All these works are very important. How will you remember them? See, first of all, remember this. Tatparya Nirnaya. So in any work, if in any work you see Tatparya Nirnaya, it was written by Madhvacharya. So Gita Tatparya Nirnaya, Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, Vishnu Tatparya Nirnaya, and Bhagavata Tatparya Nirnaya. Four works are done. Gita Bhasya was also written by Madhvacharya, and see here, important book Gita Bhasya. It was also written by Ramanujacharya as well. Can you see? Can you see Gita Bhasya? It was also written by Ramanujacharya. So please don't get confused. Both the works were written by these both people. So remember this. You have to remember this. And Mayavada Khandana. This you have to remember somehow. All 6 works are done. The last and the important person was Basaveshwara. He was a Vachanakara. He propounded the philosophy of Veerashaiva philosophy. He threw away the sacred thread after his Upanayana, that is the thread ceremony. He became the treasury head of Kalachuri Bijalla. This is important. He started social religious movement from Mangalakeda. This is also important. He advocated self-reliance and insisted one should earn one's living. Work is worship. This was also told by whom? Basaveshwara. He told body should be taken care of like a temple. Started a Sharana spiritual center called Anubhava Mantapa at Basava Kalyana of present district. This is also important. Present Bidar district of Karnataka. This is also important. Transparent state of life is the ultimate truth. Vachanas, that is simple poetic compositions, were written by him. He is Basaveshwara. Can you see the picture? Okay. The other important Vachanakaras were Allama Prabhu, Akka Mahadevi, Siddharamma, Molige Marraya, Ambigara Chavodaya, Madivala Machaya, Madara Chennaya, Haralaya, Kinnari Bommaya. All these people were other important Vachanakaras. So here we have completed the 3rd lesson as well. 4th lesson and the last lesson is Vijayanagara and Bahamani kingdoms. Vijayanagara Empire ruled for 3 centuries. Hakka and Bukka established the empire on the banks of river Tungabhadra in the year 1336 CE. Their capital was Hampi. All this is important. We all know that Vijayanagara was ruled by 4 dynasties, that is Sangama, Suluva, Tuluva and Aravidu. So let us see the first dynasty, Sangama dynasty. Bukkaraya, one of the inscriptions in Shravana Belagola. Which inscription was that? Please comment below. He solved the religious, says that Bukkaraya solved the religious wars between the Jains and Sri Vaishnavas. The son of Bukkaraya, that is Kampanna, defeated the Sultan of Madurai, and this was written in Madura Vijayam by Ganga Devi. Harihara II, son of Bukka, ruled for 27 years. The writing of commentaries on the Vedas was completed during his period. Therefore, he earned the title of Vaidika Margasthapanacharya. Important. He developed markets in 26 important cities of his kingdom. Devaraya II, proud Devaraya. Most important king, he had the title of Elephant Hunter. Important. He also had the title of Dakshinapatada Chakravarti, that is the Emperor of the South. This is also important. Please don't get confused. Dakshinapateshwara is different and Dakshinapatada Chakravarti is different. Who had the title of Dakshinapateshwara? Do you know it? If you know it, then please comment below. Newness. He visited Vijayanagara during the time of Devaraya II or Prauda Devaraya. His commander was Lakkanna Dandesha. Again important. Sanskrit scholar Dindima and Kannada scholar Lakkanna Dandesha both belong to his court. Persian ambassador Abdul Razak visited the capital at the end of April 1443. He said that the eye has not seen nor the ear heard of any place like Vijayanagara. There is no place on earth which is comparable to Vijayanagara. Again important. Who said this? Abdul Razak of Russia. Niccolo Conti, an Italian traveler, also visited Vijayanagara. Then second is the Tuluva dynasty. In the Tuluva dynasty, the only important ruler was Krishna Devaraya, the most famous king. Robert Sewell says that Krishna Devaraya was an unparalleled warrior, shrewd commander and a political expert. He had many titles and one of his titles was Yavana Raja Pratisthapanacharya. Why was he given this title? Please comment below. He wrote a Telugu work called as Amukta Malyada, reveals the shrewdness he possessed in the matters of the state. He had 8 Telugu poets known as Ashtadiggajas in his court. He wrote a play called Jambavati Kalyana in Sanskrit. Again important. Telugu poets like Allasani, Peddanna, Nandi Timmanna, Durjoti and Tenali Ramakrishna belong to his period. Portuguese traveller Pius and Barbosa visited the court of Krishna Devaraya. After him, Achyutaraya and Sadashivaraya came to the throne, but they were very minor. Because they were minor, his son-in-law Ramaraya of Aravidu dynasty took up the whole power. In 1565, the united army of the 4 kingdoms, which Deccan Sultan did not participate in the war of Rakkasatangadi? Please comment below. Of Delhi Sultans versus Vijayanagara, that is Ramaraya's army. Ramaraya was defeated and he died. Honnamma was a reporter in the court of Devaraya too. This is very, very important. Please remember her name. Honnamma. Who was she? She was a reporter. Wrestling was the most popular sport during the Vijayanagara period. Hariyakka was a famous wrestler of that time. Please remember this also. Then here we have a table, foreign visitors, country and during whose time they visited that particular kingdom. That is the kingdom of Vijayanagara. Oh, this table is related to only Vijayanagara, so please remember this. See, first is Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta was from Morocco. He visited the court of Vijayanagara during the time of Harihara II. Morocco more means peacock. You know that? Yeah. More is what color? It is green. Okay, peacock green. Peacock green is the green which we all love, isn't it? So Hari means hara. Hara. Green. So Urdu peacock and Urdu hara. Like this you can connect. Ibn Battuta belonged to the country of Morocco and he visited Vijayanagara during the time of Harihara I. Niccolo di Conti, the name ends with I and the name of the country starts with an I, that is Niccolo Conti. Niccolo di Conti belonged to Italy and he visited during the time of Prauda Devaraya. How will you remember this? The people of Italy show lot of pride. That is, they are very proud always. So like this, you can connect these 3 and remember that Niccolo di Conti belonged to Italy and he visited the court of Prauda Devaraya. Abdul Razzaq belonged to Persia and he visited the court, visited Vijayanagara during the time of Prauda Devaraya. Again, you can relate. Abdul Razzaq wants to leave Persia. Why? Because the people of Persia are always proud of themselves, which Abdul Razzaq doesn't like. Because he's a Muslim and Muslims don't like pride. So Abdul Razzaq is a Persia and he visited Vijayanagara during the time of Prauda Devaraya. Like this you can connect. Then we have Niketin. Niketin is rhyming to Putin. And who is Putin? Putin is the president of Russia, isn't it? And the people of Russia will also be very proud, always proud of themselves. Isn't it? So like this you can connect Niketin to Russia and Russia to Prauda Devaraya. Ludovico di Varthena, Italy and Narasimha too. This you have to remember somehow. There are no hints for this. Barbosa and Domingo Pius, we are reading these 2 names since the 7th standard. So I don't think so anyone will be confused. They both are from Portugal. They are from Portugal and they both visited during the time of Krishna Devaraya. This you have to remember. Okay? Portugal, Krishna Devaraya. Barbosa from Portugal visited Krishna Devaraya. Domingo Pius from Portugal visited the court of Krishna Devaraya. I hope it is easy. Fernão Nunes from Portugal. How will you remember this? C. For now. Ow. Who came first to India? Portuguese. So, newness. Who came first to India? It was Portugal. And Portuguese, the minute they came to India, they started the philosophy of Achyuta, that is non-untouchability. Okay, Achyuta Devaraya. So for now, Newness belonged to Portugal and he came during the time of Achyuta Devaraya. I hope this is easy. Next is Caesar Frederick from Italy. Italy is the capital of Rome. Okay, and Roman Emperor Caesar. We all know that Caesar was a Roman Emperor, Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar. I hope you know, right? So Caesar Frederick was from Italy, and these people, that is the Caesars, that is Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar, they were known for their wars, right? So this Caesar Frederick from Italy, he will come only after some war, isn't it? So he came after the war of Rakkasa Tangadi. So war. I hope like this you can connect and remember this. Baradas was from England. The people of England, the minute they came to India, they made all the Indian their das. Das means what? Slave. So Baradas was from England, and from the time they have come to India, they are only killing us. There are only deaths in India. So, this person from England will come only after someone's death, isn't it? So, he came after the death of Raja Venkata I. So, Baradas from England came after the death of Raja Venkata I. I hope this information or this connections and hints will help you to remember this for a longer period. Please remember these. This is very important and this is a beautiful table given to you in your texts for you to remember it easily. These will be asked in numerous competitive exams, so please don't neglect this information. Monopoly of Arab traders was broken by the Portuguese. Vijayanagara contributions. Thimmarasa was a great prime minister. This is important. Thimmarasa was a great prime minister. Main divisions of their army was infantry, cavalry, elephants and cannons. What is infantry? People who fight with guns on land. Cavalry is people who ride the horses and they fight against, the other army. That is cavalry. Horsemen. Elephants, we all know what is an elephant. Can you see this picture? Yes. Cannons are something like this. Can you see this picture? This picture over here? These are cannons. So all these forts were used by the army of Vijayanagara. Cannons were used in the wars from the time of 1368 CE. Five kinds of practices of land holdings, that is Gaini, Guttige, Siddhaya, Vara and Gadi. There were the tenancy, lease holdings and other kinds. These five kinds of land holdings were practiced. What are those? Which are those? Gaini, Guttige, Siddhaya, Vara and Gadi. Vajrakarur near Vajrakarur near Gutti in Anantapur district. That was a diamond center, Vajrakarur. Okay. Sapphires were found in Calicut. Bhatkal was a center of iron ore. Portuguese traveler Pius has recorded that there used to be fair every day at Vijayanagara, capital Hampi. All this is important, please remember. Seven main markets were there in the Vijayanagara. They were Virupaksha, Krishna, Pansupari, Varadarajamma, Achyuta, Vittala, Malyavanda. Important ports. Ports are very important. Please remember the names. The ports of Vijayanagara. Bankapur, Bhatkal, Goa, Shivanasamudra, Raichur, Kanchi, Chidambaram, Madurai, Rameshwara's Honnavar and Mangaluru. They are foreign traders: Arab, China, Java, Sumatra, Persia, East Africa and Portugal. They traded with all these countries. Their exports were rice, cloth, spices, iron and sugar. And their imports were horses, elephants, pearls, copper, mercury, China silk and velvet cloth. Barbosa said, what did he say? Whether he is a Christian, Jew, Muslim, or Hindu, everyone lead life peacefully in Vijayanagara kingdom. Then we have some works. All these three were Kannada works. They were Kannada works. I hope they are easy to remember because we have done this numerous times in the previous classes. Ratnakar Varni's Bharatesha Vaibhava, Chamarasa's Prabhulinga Lile, and Kumaravyasa's Gadugina Bharata. Please remember these, they are very important. Then we have Bhima Kavi translated Palkuri K. Samantha's Telugu work Basava Purana to Kannada language. Veerashaiva Vachanas called Shunya Sampadane, Lakanna Dandesha Shivatattva Chintamani, Dasa Sahitya. It was written by Purandara Dasa, Kanakadasa, Sripadaraya Dasa, and Vyasaraya. All these people, they belong to Dasa literature, Dasa Sahitya. Kanakadasa, he has written many works like Mohana Tarangini, Nala Charite, Hari Bhakti Sara, Ramadhanya Charite. All these works are important. Please remember, Vidyaranya wrote Shankara Vijaya and Sarvadarshan Sangraha in Sanskrit. Sayanacharya wrote commentaries on the Vedas like Vedartha Prakasha, Ayurveda Sudhanidhi, and Purushartha Sudhanidhi. Court poet of Devaraya too, that is Srinatha, had earned the title Kavi Chakravarti. Allasani Peddanna's Manucharitham, Timmanna's Parijata Paharanam, Tenali Ramakrishna's Ubhatara Dhanya Charitham. Paranjoti Iyer wrote Tiruvala Yadal Puranam. All these works are important. All these works, please remember them. If you want to make certain hints or connections, do make it, but please don't neglect any of this information. All these works, these authors, they will be asked in the competitive exams, so please don't neglect it. Please learn. Rough granite stone, that is Kana Shile, was used for construction in the construction of the temples of the Vijayanagara. The most ancient temple of Vijayanagara is Virupaksha temple at Hampi. The most ancient temple of Vijayanagara. Virupaksha temple at Hampi. This is important. Please remember, we have done this in the previous classes as well if you remember. According to Percy Brown, the famous art historian, that temples, buildings and idols created by Vijayanagara kings is the most evolved form of Dravida's style of temple architecture. Examples of Indo-Muslim architectural style: Kamal Mahal, Elephant Stable, and Queen's Bath. This is important. Why? Because they are the examples of Indo-Muslim architectural style in Vijayanagara. That was Kamal Mahal, Elephant Stable, and Queen's Bath. So remember these examples. Finally, we have the Bahmani kingdom. In 1347 CE, Alauddin Hasan Gangu Bahman Shah established this dynasty. There are two stages in the Bahmani history. In the first stage, the Gulbarga was the capital and 8 sultans ruled from here. In the second stage, Shihabuddin Ahmad shifted the capital from Gulbarga to Bidar till the end. Then we have the important person Muhammad Gavan. He was the prime minister and his capital was Kalaburgi. Muhammad Gavan was the prime minister in the court of Muhammad Shah III, who gave the titles to Gavan like Khwaja-e-Jahan and Malik ul Thazar. This is important. The titles of Muhammad Gavan were Khwaja-e-Jahan and Malik ul Thazar. Ibrahim Adil Shah too, very important person. Please read as much as you can. Ibrahim Adil Shah too. He wrote a book, Kitab-e-Nawaris, begins with the prayers to the gods Ganesha, Saraswati and Narasimha. He was so impressed by Mahapati Dasa's discourse on the Bhagavata that he appointed him Khazandar official in his court. This is also important. Khazandar. Whom did he appoint as Khazandar? Mahapati Dasa. Okay. Then Bahmani contribution, the cabinet was called Majlis-e-Ilwit. This is important. Which dynasty's cabinet was called as Majlis-e-Ilwith? It was Bahamani. Bahamani dynasty's cabinet was called as Majlis-e-Ilwith. Then government converted 4 tarafs, that is provinces, into 8 for better administration. 50 kinds of taxes. 50 kinds of taxes were there during the time of Bahamani sultans. 4 types of armed troops were there, that is permanent troops, troops recruited during wartime, troops for religious wars, and units for the protection of sultan and the palaces. Gold coins known as Honnu and silver coins known as Lori and Tanka. Please remember the names. Gold coin Honnu, silver coin Lori and Tanka were in circulation during the time of Bahamani Sultan. And who established these coins? Sorry, who started these coins? Do Google it. Famous woman Bibi Khanam. She was Yusuf Adil Shah's wife. Dilsha Agha. Who was she? We have done this in the previous class. Chand Bibi, Shahar Banu Begum. All these were famous women of the Bahamani dynasty. Schools were known as maktabs. The madrasas were the centers of higher education. Indo-Sasanic style of architecture was established. Gol Gumbaz, we all know Gol Gumbaz. It was built by Muhammad Adil Shah, and that is the biggest dome in India and the 4th biggest dome in the world. Here is a map that shows you the extent of the Vijayanagara Empire. Can you see this? Yes, and this is a map that shows you the extent of the Bahamani Sultanate. So Bahamani Sultanate was up and Vijayanagara Empire was here, down. Another thing to be understood, that India has a spiral educational system. Okay, that means something, some lessons, some information that we have already studied in the 7th and the 8th standard will also appear in the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th standard, but with a little more information. So please do not neglect the lessons. Okay, they are all very important. Pay attention and learn everything that is important so that it becomes very easy for you to crack the competitives. It is very important that you make your basics strong. So here finally we have completed the full history of 9th standard part 1 textbook. I hope you have enjoyed this class. It's time for quiz. Let's play quiz. The first question is, the people of Middle East are known as what? A. Aryan races, B. Semitic races, C. Mongolian races, or D. Dravidian races. And your time starts now. Please be quick. The time is running out. And the answer is B. Semitic races. Second question. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam meditated on which mountain? A. Mount Hira, B. Mount Safa, C. Mount Parva, or D. Mount Himalayas. I hope you are enjoying this. Please don't forget to comment your scores. And the answer is A. Mount Hira. Third question. The most famous king of Chandelas was A. Danga, B. Prithviraj Chauhan, C. Mool Raja, or D. Bhoja. The time has already begun. Please be quick. And the answer is A. Danga. Fourth question. Ushra was dash. A. Land tax on non-Muslims, B. Property tax on Muslims, C. Tax on the wealth plundered during battles, or D. Agricultural tax on Muslims. I hope you're enjoying this. Please be quick. And the answer is D. Agricultural tax on Muslims. Fifth question. Vishishtadvaita philosophy was propounded by dash. A. Shankaracharya, B. Basveshwara, C. Ramanujacharya, or D. Madhvacharya. Please be quick. You have to be very quick in competitives. And the answer is C. Ramanujacharya. Sixth question. Who established 8 mutts, that is Ashtamathas? A. Shankaracharya, B. Basveshwara, C. Ramanujacharya, or D. Madhvacharya? The time has begun. The time is running out. Be quick, be quick. And the answer is D. Madhvacharya. Seventh. Who had the title of Elephant Hunter? A. Krishna Devaraya, B. Bukkaraya, C. Devaraya II, or D. Harihara II? Please be quick. And the answer is C. Devaraya II. Eighth question. Baradas was from dash. A. England, B. Persia, C. Portugal, or D. Italy? The time is running out. And the answer is A. England. Ninth question. Vara was what kind of practice? A. Practice of marriage ceremony, B. Practice of business, C. Practice of land holding, or D. Practice of employment? I hope you all enjoying this. I hope you people are getting the answers right. And the answer is C. The practice of land holding. The last question, 10th question. Taj al-Masir was written by A. Hassan Nizami, B. Aibak, C. Minaz al-Siraj, or D. al-Biruni? Please be quick. I hope this is enjoyable. The time is running out. Please be quick. And the answer is A. Hassan Nizami. So what's your score? Please don't forget to comment your scores below. Thank you for watching. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.